Nobody saw this coming. The Indiana Fever just pulled off the most shocking upset in WNBA history. And it happened when everyone expected them to crumble. Their biggest star was benched with a mysterious injury. Key players had abandoned ship, and they were facing the most dominant team in the league on enemy territory. The basketball world had already written their obituary before the game even started. What happened next will leave you speechless. And Caitlin Clark's six-word reaction in the locker room afterward reveals exactly why this victory has the entire WNBA shaking. The nightmare scenario couldn't have been worse for Indiana. Caitlin Clark had been sidelined with a groin injury for 3 straight games, ruled out completely for the Commissioner's Cup final. This wasn't just any player missing action. This was their franchise cornerstone, the rookie phenomenon who had been carrying this team on her back all season. Without Clark's leadership and playmaking, the Fever looked like a completely different squad. Their offensive rhythm disappeared, ball movement became stagnant, and they'd blown multiple double-digit leads in recent games. But Clark's absence was just the beginning of their problems. Damiris Dantas, another crucial piece of their rotation, was thousands of miles away, playing overseas basketball, instead of suiting up for the biggest game in franchise history. Veterans who were supposed to provide stability had either underperformed, or in some cases, completely quit on the team mid-season. The Fever were walking into this championship game with a skeleton crew. Standing in their way was the Minnesota Lynx, a team that had been absolutely demolishing opponents all season long. The Lynx carried the league's best record into the Commissioner's Cup final, and they weren't just winning games, they were dominating them. Nafisa Collier was putting up MVP-caliber numbers. Their defense was suffocating, and they had the experience of being defending Commissioner's Cup champions. Playing at Target Center with a sold-out crowd behind them, Minnesota was supposed to cruise to their second straight title. Las Vegas sportsbooks had them favored by 14 points, treating this like a guaranteed blowout. The media coverage leading up to the game told the whole story. ESPN had reportedly pre-written articles about a Minnesota victory, and analysts were openly questioning whether Indiana even belonged on the same court. Sports commentators were already talking about how this would be a learning experience for the young Fever squad, a chance to gain valuable experience before getting embarrassed on national television. The narrative was set in stone. This was going to be a massacre. Then something incredible happened. Natasha Howard exploded for 16 points and 12 rebounds, earning Commissioner's Cup MVP honors, while the entire Fever roster transformed into a championship-caliber unit. The same team that had been struggling without Clark suddenly rediscovered their identity. Ball movement became crisp and purposeful. Defensive rotations locked in, and 5 different players scored in double figures. Aaliyah Boston dominated the paint with a double-double of her own. Kelsey Mitchell took over as the floor general, and role players like Ari McDonald provided exactly the spark they needed. The momentum shift was absolutely devastating for Minnesota. Indiana trailed 20-12 after the first quarter, but outscored the Lynx 27 in the second period, holding Minnesota without a point for the final 8 minutes and 13 seconds of the first half. The Target Center crowd, which had been electric and ready to celebrate another championship, went completely silent. You could feel the energy drain from the building as the Fever methodically dismantled what was supposed to be the league's most unstoppable offense. What made this performance even more remarkable was how complete it was. This wasn't just one player getting hot and carrying the team. This was a total team effort where everyone contributed exactly what was needed. The Fever's defense forced turnovers. Their offense moved the ball beautifully, and their bench provided crucial minutes that kept the starters fresh. They played with the kind of chemistry and confidence that championship teams display, proving they could win without their superstar leading the way. The final score said it all. 74-59. The Fever had not just won, they had dominated the league's best team on their home floor, in front of their fans, with their championship hopes on the line. The basketball world was stunned. Social media exploded with disbelief and admiration for what Indiana had accomplished. But the most electric moment came in the locker room celebration afterward. Caitlin Clark, despite missing the game with her injury, was captured on video celebrating with her teammates. As the team celebrated their historic victory, Clark grabbed the microphone and delivered 6 words that perfectly captured what everyone was thinking but afraid to say out. "I just know everybody's sick." The room erupted in laughter and cheers, but those 6 words cut straight to the heart of everything that had been bubbling under the surface all season. Clark's statement wasn't just about this one game. It was about the jealousy, the criticism, and the constant negativity that had surrounded this team all year. The way other players had tried to diminish their success, the way media outlets had questioned their legitimacy, and the way fans of other teams had rooted against them simply because of the attention they received. Clark called it out directly, and her teammates loved every second of it. The aftermath of this victory has changed everything for the Indiana Fever. They proved they have the depth, heart, and championship DNA to win without their biggest star, which makes them absolutely terrifying when Clark returns healthy. This wasn't just a feel-good story about overcoming adversity. This was a statement that sent shockwaves through the entire league. The Fever have officially announced themselves as legitimate contenders, and every team in the WNBA now has to take them seriously. The Indiana Fever just rewrote their entire narrative in one incredible night. They went from being counted out and dismissed to being feared and respected. They showed the basketball world that when you count out a team with heart, determination, and championship character, you do so at your own peril. This Commissioner's Cup victory will be remembered as the moment the Fever officially arrived as a force in the WNBA. And Caitlin Clark's 6-word celebration perfectly captured why this win means everything to a franchise that refuses to be overlooked ever again.